Here in New York with us is Paul Rieckhoff, the host of the Independent Americans podcast, co-founder of American Veterans for Ukraine. And see you, Paul. If we could pick up on what the general's saying there, I would ask you about Ukraine anyway. I always forget who to credit with this, but I've been talking about that phrase the last few weeks with all this going on that these people used to say about us, the Americans, to the general's point. Not only you guys have the allies, you have the good allies, you have the good friends, and that's what he's talking about with Europe. But anyway, what do you make of what's going on with Ukraine?
Well, there used to be something we said in this country, too, that we don't negotiate with terrorists. But so far, we've been focused on negotiating with a criminal terrorist that is Vladimir Putin. And I think if this goes through, this is a great deal for Russia and Putin. But it's not a good deal for Ukraine. It's not a good deal for NATO. I don't think it's a good deal for America. And it seems to be, to your point earlier, that they're not on the same page, right?
Right.
Putin puts out a statement and it doesn't line up with Trump's. It means they're not on the same page.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Usually you have that kind of consistency. You agree to put out a statement together and then you move forward together.
Right.
So it's a lot of chaos. And I don't think Putin, most of all, can be trusted.
That's what I was going to say about what goes through. We don't know what's going to go through.
Yeah.
We don't know what the deal is right now, or I don't even know if we know what the terms are specifically of the deal when each side's saying you violated. Well, you violated what? We know what they're saying, but we don't know exactly.
And a ceasefire is very easy. Putin can stop bombing Ukrainian cities and civilians right now.
Yeah, don't
That's
hit the hospital.
The easiest way to move forward some kind of negotiation and show good faith would be for Putin to stop hitting Ukrainian cities. Another point that I think is getting very, very little coverage, too. American forces in CENTCOM are also hitting Iranian-backed Houthi targets in Yemen right now. So while all this is going on, America's turning up the volume and hitting targets harder than any time in the last few years.
Well, that could be the grand bargain type,
which is a part of this as well, right?
Yeah. So there, you see some strategic thinking in all of that from the Trump side of it.
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, I know if you agree with it. I'm saying you see that there's a strategy there that brings the whole Middle East and Iran into it, no?
I mean, there could be, right? I mean, this is, to get this grand, like, world peace deal is kind of the ultimate political Hail Mary, and Trump has talked big before. I mean, he said that the wars would all be over by now, so that is grandiose talk. I'm rooting for him to pull it off. Sure. I think most Americans are, but it's also a big talking thing that would be very hard to execute.
All right, a couple of other topics for you while you're here. We always talk about veterans issues in general. I know there was a story out there about the Pentagon in particular this time with 60,000 civilian jobs being cut eventually, that being the goal, and about a third already taking the buyout. So what are you hearing about jobs at the Pentagon? And then I know you've talked about the VA as well.
Here's the big story. Every day, thousands of veterans are being fired. And it is very unpopular across all partisan lines, and there is tremendous outrage and frustration across America. When you see a headline like that says 60,000 people are being fired, one-third of them are veterans. So that's 20,000 veterans conservatively. At the Pentagon, the percentage is much higher. So for the veterans community especially, every day we're waking up to friends on our LinkedIn and our Facebook and our social media who say, oh, man, I just got fired last night. So it's like a daily smash into our community that is really hurting Trump politically. I think is galvanizing a new movement of people who haven't been involved in politics, and it's hurting us economically. It's going to drive up the unemployment rate, but I think this is a very big story, Connell. Over the next couple of weeks especially, you're going to see more and more veterans organized and more Americans who support veterans organized, because nobody likes tens of thousands of veterans being fired.
I wonder, to your point, what the political fallout of that, and I think you're right. I don't think we know precisely what it is yet. It hasn't happened yet necessarily. The other thing, some of these stories come up, everything happens so quickly, so this one's getting a lot of attention today as well, all the pushback against DEI. So there was a story up on the website at the Department of Defense about Jackie Robinson and his service in the Army, and that got taken down at some point. The Pentagon, in their briefing today, has responded to this. It's a long statement. You see at the top, everybody at the Defense Department loves Jackie Robinson, and they go on and on about his service and all of that. In the last part, they say we do not view or highlight them through the prism of these characteristics, race, ethnicity, or sex. So the bottom line, they're taking down a lot of these things that anything to do with DEI, they think. And then you have a true American hero like Jackie Robinson. That story or about his military service gets taken down. Thoughts?
This is what happens when you have Doge and Elon Musk and AI ripping through government agencies and taking down things that set off flags for a computer. Why on earth would you remove Jackie Robinson? It is absolutely inexcusable. He's an American hero. Right. He's an icon. But I think it cuts to how sloppy this is or how indiscriminate it is. Maybe they don't care about Jackie Robinson, but they're now explaining why they're removing. It's not an accident. They removed a number of people of color, heroes, people connected to Arlington Cemetery. I mean, they're all just gone. So someone has to be held accountable. If it was a mistake, someone needs to own it. If not, this is very, very, very bad for recruiting, for retention, for morale, and obviously for our standing in the world when it looks like we're erasing an American hero.
Of course, it's exactly what it looked like to a lot of people. Now, to your point, they're trying to explain it going back. But the larger point is they're just moving so fast to try to do something with, you know, whatever they're using, words and a search engine or whatever it is, and anything comes up, and next thing you know, it's gone.
Last week, they removed all reference to the Enola Gay, the plane that carried the bomb that dropped on Nagasaki, because it had the word gay in it.
Come on.
I mean, that's how sloppy this is, and they have to be held accountable because it's unacceptable.
You mentioned Elon Musk and Doge. I think it was last time you're on. I do want to get your thoughts on what you think just speaking of political fallout, what it is for him. All this stuff's been rough, terrible news, actually, these Tesla dealerships, cars on fire, and all the rest. So he's obviously coming under fire, whatever words you want to use already, right? Then, look at this. This was in Las Vegas. So there's a lot of protests, a lot of pushback on him. We'll see what happens, you know, if he stays in government or not. Remember we had the story of Mark Kelly? I know he's on your podcast and what have you, and he was saying, oh, he's getting rid of his Tesla. He's made more comments. So let's play those, and then we'll come back and finish this up.
Here I am with my new ride, Chevy, good old Chevy Tahoe, here in Washington, D.C. Got one of these in Tucson as well. This one was made by Union Labor, United Auto Workers in Arlington, Texas. Always good to buy Union cars, incredibly reliable.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways, I suppose, to look at this, but I mean, the bigger picture ways to look at it is kind of a sad commentary where we are in this country now. Whatever your politics are, you're either burning down a dealership or getting a new car. I mean, it's not great.
Nobody should be burning things down and resorting to violence. But I think the deeper issue here is that Elon Musk is maybe one of the least popular people in America right now, right? I mean, he's less popular than Putin. He's less popular than Eric Adams. He's less popular than Trump.
Well, that last point is important.
Yeah, in part because he does things like calling Mark Kelly a traitor.
Yes.
He called Mark Kelly, who's an astronaut and a Navy combat veteran, a traitor. And he is firing thousands of vets. And he is attacking people out in the open. And I think that's piling up, right? Veterans especially are extremely upset about the cuts. They know that Doge is a part of it. They know that Elon is behind it. So you're seeing them protest at Tesla dealerships. You're seeing them boycott Tesla and SpaceX. You're seeing them protest at VAs when they're fired. So I think having Mark Kelly as a lead element here, in my view, is bigger than politics. This is like the legacy of John McCain, right? This is when Trump called John McCain, you know, he said, I don't like people who are captured, right? That is very unpopular in America. People like their veterans in America. And when you cross them, there is a political price to pay. And I think Mark Kelly and others are going to be leading that fight.
All right, Paul, as always, thank you, sir. Paul Rieckhoff with us. Just getting started here, 18 past the hour. Much more to come on News Nation now.